Welcome back to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. This is part two. Part one, we talked about Game 5 and what went wrong. Now we are just going to look at the team as a whole. What the fuck is wrong? Where do we go from here? Right here on the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. So let's just take it away.
Yikes. Yikes.
What do they need to do? What needs to happen? What do you think? Let's do a scenario here. Let's do a scenario. I'm Brendan Shanahan, okay?
Yep.
Dale, how are you? I'm Brendan Shanahan.
Yep. Shanny, what's up?
Well, listen. I listened to the Tip In. I love a good tip. Got a big one myself.
I think your biggest problem right now is you're not getting enough tips.
So I'd like to hire you to be general manager. Tell me what your first move would be as general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, my goodness. Jeez. There's
first move.
You have to try to start on the back end. You got to try to start to fix the defense. Now, how that happens, that's what we can talk about. How do you fix the okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
Morgan Riley, Cody Ceci, Justin Hall, Jake Muzzin, Travis Dermott, Tyson Barrie, Marty Marincin, Sandin Liljegren. There's 9 guys. I think they took another dude in the bubble with them too, but those are the top 9 guys right now. Ceci, sayonara, $4.5 million out the door. Barrie, 2.5, hit the fucking bricks. Tyson Barrie, never want to see that fucking dude ever again. Riley's still under contract. Hall's under contract. Muzzin's under contract. Dermott's an RFA. Marincin's under contract. What the fuck? Okay, I hope that's the last game that he ever plays as a Leaf too. But I doubt that's fucking true.
No, he'll probably play opening night.
Jesus. So in the system, you got Sandin and Liljegren. Are both of those guys? They're rookies. Are they both in the lineup come opening night?
Mm-mm.
You don't think so?
I don't know. They might have to be.
Here's what you do. So you got Hall, you got Muzzin, you got Riley. Dermott is an RFA. Do you sign Dermott cheap and bring him back?
I don't know. Is Dermott going to look for a big payday?
He fucking can't. He can't at this point. How could he? Look, he's played like shit.
I don't know. I don't know how he would, but maybe he thinks.
What would you even pay Travis Dermott at this point? What would you pay him?
What's Justin Hall making?
2. So
he's probably going to want 3.
I think Hall's arguably played. Okay.
I don't know. Dermott, he's probably going to want more than Hall. I don't know what Dermott's going to want.
I would say same deal at best. Same deal at best. 2 years, $2 million per. That's it. That's the deal.
One of the biggest problems the Leafs have is COVID-19 has forced a flat cap.
Yeah.
The cap is not moving for 2 seasons guaranteed, and we'll see where it goes after that.
He's not a $3 million defenseman. He's barely of $2 million.
I know. So let's say
same deal as Justin Hall. That's it.
Let's say Dermott pulls a Nylander.
Then you're not playing.
Do you think Dubas this time around will be like, you know what?
He fucking better.
Sorry, take a seat. Sandin will take your spot.
That's right. Well, Sandin's taking someone's spot anyway. He's taking Barry's spot or whatever. Sandin's playing 100%.
Okay, Sandin's playing 100 spot, but I don't think he should be jumping up into the lineup. I want to see Sandin as your 5-6. They need NHL caliber.
No,
defensemen.
I agree. And I know we just talked about the series, but I still don't know why Sandin didn't play in that series. I still don't know.
The Leafs have gone downhill since the Washington series, which was supposed to be their stepping stone.
Regression, big time.
Yeah, they had a big point season where I think they had 105 points. Is that it?
Whoop-de-fucking-do.
And then they haven't progressed, And if I was GM, I would look at definitely fixing the blue line. But I would also look at what have we lost in the past couple of years, and it's all been character guys: Kadri, Komarov, Brown, Hainsey. I know we made jokes about Hainsey and stuff, but I think Hainsey brought something to the room.
Yeah.
A little bit of veteran. I think they need a little more of that if you want to win.
I think they need a lot more of it, to be honest.
They could use, as stupid as this sounds and as Babcocky as this sounds, they could use 2 more Hymans.
Yeah, they could. Like, okay, so just staying on the defense, like,
Yeah.
I guess they thought, okay, like, very, just a major disappointment. That trade was just a bust all around, like, just a terrible fucking trade. How do you see that coming, though? No one, like, they thought, here's a right-handed D, like, he's probably going to come in and kill it for 1 year, and then we'll take our chances this year. It was just an absolute fucking bust, to say the least. But so
it was a huge bust. You burned a huge trade chip.
No, so as far as I'm concerned, him coming out and Sandin going in is a fucking, like, a step up at this point for me. But that's not enough. So Riley, who's going to play with Morgan Riley? Do you play Muzzin with Riley and quit fucking around with this? Like, Riley needs somebody like Cody Ceci. I'm sorry. Like,
I don't know. I really like Muzzin and Hall.
Okay, so then who plays with Riley?
That's what you need to do.
It's not Dermott.
No, it's not.
Eventually, it might be Sandin, but it's not today.
Dermott and Sandin could be your 5-6. Muzzin
or
Hall.
Dermott becomes expendable, and you play Lilligren and Sandin, and you save the fucking Dermott's money.
I think Dermott's better than Lilligren.
Well, we don't know what Lilligren's going to be. He could.
I think he is. Dermott's got. You want to keep as much experience as you can. I mean, if you want to win now, you don't do it with this defense. It's not going to happen.
Okay, but yet we're talking about bringing guys back like Dermott and Hall and Muzzin. And there's 5 of your fucking 6.
No.
So they're going to bring in one guy, and it's going to be.
But they need to bring in a big guy, not a Tyson Berry. They need to bring in another Muzzin, but a right-handed Muzzin. And all of a sudden, like, think about Columbus and how big of a loss it would have been had Zach Werenski not played.
Oh, it would have been huge.
And they got Seth Jones on top of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They need their Zach Werenski. They need another. They have Morgan Riley. They need another one, a right-handed shot to play. And then you have Muzzin and Hall as 3-4. I'm fine with that. And then a speedy Dermott Sandin as 5-6. I'm okay with that. But they need another guy, a solid guy. Like, I hate to say it, but Riley's best days were with Ron Hainsey.
Oh, yeah.
Just a solid veteran.
Best season he had was with fucking Hainsey.
Hainsey just kept it simple, and he played solid hockey, and Riley could trust him. Do you think when Riley's on the ice with Ceci, he's looking over his shoulder being like,
oh, fuck, no.
I got to get back.
No.
I can't do anything. This guy's
no. But that's why Muzzin would make the most amount of sense to play with Riley, to be honest. Why don't you put Muzzin?
Why don't you find another Muzzin?
Okay, find another Muzzin. Where do you go and find that guy?
Well, you're the newly hired GM.
It's not easy, man. Like,
I know it's not easy, but that's the predicament Kyle Dubas is in, and he put himself in this
because of COVID and where the cap's going to be, like, basically staying the same for the next 3 years or whatever. You might see other teams around the league up against it and be having to make their own moves, like the Leafs, to get guys out that they don't get money out, but ultimately end up having to trade guys that they don't want to trade, or whatever.
You're going to see a lot of big contracts traded for big contracts.
So here's the deal then. Can you really get, I don't know who's available free agency wise as far as defensemen go.
I think they don't have the money to sign a free agent.
Well, not unless they trade Marner or Nylander. We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But I think that's their route. The route to landing the big defenseman is
someone's got to go.
Someone's got to go, and someone's got to go with a lot of salary. You're not going to get a number one right-handed defenseman for Kasperi Kapanen or Andreas Janssen.
No. So, but hang on a second. CC $4.5 million, Barry $2.5 million. There's like $6-7 million right there. That could get you somebody pretty nice, couldn't it?
Right, but you got to pay Dermott.
Maybe not.
So, but Dermott right now is on an entry-level contract, so he's going to get at least a couple $1 million raise.
Okay. $2 million. It better be nothing more than fucking that.
Makheyev's contract kicks in next year. Kerfoot's contract kicks in next year. They go up. They're getting raises. So you're eating into that $7 million right there.
Okay.
And Engvall got a $1.25 million contract that kicks in next year.
Yeah.
So right now you look at that $7 million, it's already down to 3.5. It's not enough. It's not enough.
No, it's not. Okay, fair enough. They don't have anybody coming in the system, as far as I know, defense-wise or even forward-wise, that like other than Robertson, Sandy, like the guys we've already talked about, other than those guys, there's nobody coming. There's nobody like left on the Marlies that's going to come in and make a difference. They've depleted it. And so it's got to come from outside. So,
and you're not getting anybody in this year's first round.
Oh, fuck.
The New York Rangers won the draft lottery. So the Leafs would choose 13th overall, but that has gone to Carolina in the Patrick Marleau deal.
Yeah, that makes just nice cherry on the top. Nice cherry on top.
Just a first round. Beautiful.
Dude,
beautiful 48 hours.
At 13th in what they're calling a deep draft, there would be a right-handed defenseman there that they could take. Maybe not that would come and help them right away. You're still going to have to make a move, but they just need to like start stocking up some.
Even if there wasn't a right-handed defenseman available at 13th, that's a hell of a trade chip to have on the draft floor.
Yeah, the 13th draft pick. Yeah.
Yeah, when you have a first-round 13th draft pick and someone who just won a cup is looking to let go of a veteran defenseman, and you're like, hey, you want to move up 20 spots?
Right.
They don't have that.
No, you're right. And so, but at this point, all we know is they need to fix that defense. But how are you really going to fix it if you bring back 5 of the same fucking guys and only one different guy? Is that enough to do it? Because then you'll have Muzzin and maybe another Muzzin like to play with Riley. Is that going to be good enough? And then we wait and see what Sandin and Liljegren are, or we wait and see if Dermott can step up.
No, if you can get some depth guys, but you really only have the room and the assets to bring in one big guy. And then if you want to go and get, like they do on the forwards, they plug in $1 million guys in the bottom 6. If you want to go pick up a few defensemen like that, fine. But they don't have the assets or the cap space to go out and bolster the defense with 5 Morgan Rileys.
No, they don't.
Just can't do it.
No.
They need one guy like Tyson Barrie, but not Tyson Barrie. You know what I mean?
Fuck. They don't need a guy like that. That's the last thing they fucking
But that's
need.
what they need to do. They need to make a trade like they did for Tyson Barrie. Maybe a guy who's coming off the end of his contract, and they might only get a year or two before he needs a big payday.
Dubas takes heat for that trade, myself included. That wasn't the original trade he wanted to make. You know that, right? No. There was a deal with the Flames where he was getting TJ Brody. TJ Brody was the original target. It was going to be Brody. I don't know if there was going to be somebody. It might have just been Brody for Kadri straight up. You're aware of this, right?
I am.
Kadri Kibosh, the whole thing. That was Dubas' first fucking choice. Tyson Barrie was plan B, not plan A. Wow. Just so everyone listening knows that out there in case you didn't know that.
And sometimes
TJ Brody was the original plan.
Sometimes no plan is better than plan B.
Well, I mean, yeah, I get it. But
yeah, I knew that. But he did. Kerfoot hasn't been great, but he did weasel Kerfoot in the trade. So at least it wasn't 1-for-1, because I believe the Kadri Brody was a 1-for-1. So he did get Kerfoot to bolster it a little bit, but Kerfoot did shit.
No, I keep Kerfoot around. The only reason why I keep him around is so that you can leave him unprotected and Seattle takes him in the expansion draft.
There you go.
Only reason I'm leaving, or maybe Engvall gets taken. I don't know. One of those bottom guys is getting taken in the expansion draft. It could be Cappy or Johnson, but I'd rather trade one of those guys and get something than lose them to Seattle for fucking nothing.
Yeah,
but Kerfoot.
Well, then you should do that now. You should do that before the expansion draft. Make the trades you need to make, know what your roster is, and then know who you want to put on the expansion.
Right. The expansion draft isn't until next summer.
Right. But make your trades this year. I mean, you have the offseason, the season, and then the trade deadline.
Okay, so is there anybody off the top of your head, like as the playoffs go on, like different guys might become available, defenseman-wise, forward-wise, whatever. Is there anybody off the top of your head, defenseman-wise, that either is still playing or is not playing anymore, that realistically they could target and make work? I'm not talking about fucking like Doughty or Brent Burns or like Erik Karlsson. Like I'm a realistic somebody. Like
it depends on, I guess, on. It'll depend on how these playoffs go. Because if someone
is PK Subban completely out of the question?
Yeah, I would say.
Is he a righty or a lefty?
He's a righty, but you can't take his $9 million contract.
Well, it depends who you get rid of.
It's true, but would you be willing to trade a Nylander for a PK Subban? I don't know. At
I
this
don't know.
point in
I'll tell you
Subban's
what. I thought trading him for Shea Weber was an insane trade for the Montreal Canadiens. That trade doesn't look so fucking insane to me right now.
No. Well, then why would you want to take on PK Subban? Nashville
know.
did, and it didn't work out for them.
I know. Toronto.
They ended up trading him a fucking
maybe
New
coming
Jersey.
maybe just coming home to the Leafs would do. I'm not saying I want PK. I'm just thinking like a guy that you could. They would trade him. They would trade. New Jersey would trade him.
What you need to do, you need to look no further than the team you just played. Columbus had Ryan Johansson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He was probably in the same category as a William Nylander. Tons of skill, tons of talent. Good player. Be a 2 center, maybe a 1 center.
Good player, but not in the same league as fucking Seth Jones.
No, but to Columbus, he was a high draft pick. He was their top prospect.
Sure.
And they parted ways with him for a defensive top prospect. And they won that trade because Ryan Johansson.
Are you kidding me?
But maybe that's what the Leafs need to do. They need to look at the top 4 and say, you know what? Is it worth parting with Nylander?
How long was Jones in
Nashville
for before that trade went down?
They drafted him.
He played at least a couple seasons there, but why the fuck did they trade him? Just because they needed nobody could score, and they had other defense that they thought like
they had deep
defense.
Yeah, and right. Nashville still they lost Seth Jones, but they still have really good defense. So it didn't really hurt them. It's just when you look at it, Seth Jones has outplayed Ryan Johansson, but it's not like Nashville can't play defense all of a sudden. They always had deep defense. They are like the Leafs on offense. Like if the Leafs lose William Nylander, it might hurt, but I'm sure they'll find some way to replace his 25 goals.
Yeah, like, I don't know, Nick Robertson maybe?
They got Nick Robertson. They got maybe a healthy Janssen. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
It's just if you can move Nylander and bring in something that will actually help you now, because they got Nylander losing.
No, I know, but is there specifically anybody that you can think of, like a Seth Jones? Like, you're not going to get a Seth Jones.
Well, there's tons of guys, but who do I think would be traded?
Well, who I have no idea. Is there a young guy like
maybe you can try TJ Brody again?
It wasn't Brody that didn't want that trade to happen. It was
exactly.
But I don't even know how old Brody is, and I don't even know if he's like the answer really.
But if that's the guy you wanted,
he would have been better than Tyson Barrie. I know that for fucking sure. But yeah, Calgary got fucking beat anyway, did they not? To fucking who'd they?
Yeah, TJ Brody.
Or no? Did Calgary beat? Is Calgary still playing?
TJ Brody's a UFA.
Is Calgary still playing? They beat. Winnipeg, right? Yeah. Okay. So UFA. Well, there you go. There's a guy that maybe they will go back on. But I'm just trying to think of a kid, a solid defenseman that has been drafted lately that is played well, but maybe the team needs like offense. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But
that's a good way of looking at it. Instead of looking for individual players, look at teams that need help offensively. Teams that can't score.
Nylander's coming off of
teams that are rebuilding. Like, look at a Detroit. Someone who would take a 24-year-old William Nylander.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
I wouldn't trade him in the same division, personally. But actually, maybe I would. I'm not even that fucking scared. Like, he's not going to come back and fucking bite them anyway. I think he's going to be a good goal scorer. But, I don't know. He's just part of, like, something's got to give here. Something's got to give.
Yeah, you have too much. You have too much in one end. Like, as a team, you have so much up front, and you're so bare bones on the back end. Something's got to give. I know that Dubas loves this group and wants to like grow them together and find a way to. I don't know. I don't know what his plan is exactly with the defense. He never really addresses it.
Yeah.
But if his plan is, like you say, just these guys and Rasmus Sandin taking Barry's spot, we're going to be back here a year from now.
Okay, well, dude, like we said on the previous podcast, literally, like if the core comes back, the main core guys, and literally the defense is structured like maybe Dermott moves up to play with Riley, and it's Hall, and it's Muzzin, and it's Sandin, and Liljegren or whatever the case may be. I might be leaving somebody out there. I can't remember, but let's say that is. I don't think I am actually. So let's say those are your fucking 6D. He didn't even make any changes. And we're looking at the same result, a first round exit or not making the playoffs. My goodness, man. You think it's hot on the heat's on him now. If he tries to run this back thinking this was bad luck or analytics wasn't like going their way, like if he thinks that that's what this is and he tries to fucking do this all over again with some minor adjustments, my man, oh, dude. Next year at this time is going to be like, it's going to be a shit show. Like Leafs fans are hot now. If he doesn't make the changes that they basically need to make.
Yeah.
Like,
you can get by the last couple of years not making
promoting Dermott to play with Riley and then having two rookies as your 5-6. If that's his game plan, I don't know.
And if I'm Freddie Anderson and that's the defense in front of me, I'm asking for a trade. I'm like, good night.
Freddie Anderson, man. So we don't have the answers on D. We just think that they need to get someone to play with Morgan Riley and possibly somebody else too as a depth guy to be in the 5-6 pair.
Yep.
And maybe Dermott, like,
and you might have to give up.
Maybe Dermott's not
give up one of the young defensemen in a trade. Like if you want to score a number one right-handed defenseman, which don't grow on trees and are very hard to find, you might have to not just part with a William Nylander. You might have to part with a William Nylander and a Rasmus Sandin or Timothy Liljegren.
Yeah, I don't think they'll trade Rasmus Sandin. Liljegren might become expendable. Like, I don't know. I think
outside of Austin Matthews,
I hate
there is nobody on this team I wouldn't trade.
No, fair enough. But those guys aren't even on the team. We don't know what they're going to be yet. They could help. We don't know for sure that they can't help.
But you're trying to win today.
I know that.
So
I know that.
This is what teams do that try to win. They take guys that they don't know what they're going to be, and they
I'd rather trade Dermott than Rasmus Sandin because I've seen a size amount of what Dermott can do, and I think Sandin will do more than that.
If I'm the other GM,
I know.
I want Sandin.
I know
for the exact same reason. I know what I'm getting with Dermott, and if I'm rebuilding, I'll take Sandin and take my chances with him.
I know. I hate giving up on guys that are so young that you don't know what they're going to be, especially defensemen. Oh, that's not right. That's dangerous.
They don't want to trade Sandin. I don't feel like they're shopping Sandin. But what I'm saying is, it may get to the point where you have to make the decision that you may have the player of your dreams, but the GM saying, "I'll do this, but Rasmus Sandin has to be a part of the deal." And then you have to say, "Well, we could win a cup with this guy." Do we do it, or do we say, no, we better see what Rasmus Sandin does and then get knocked out in the first round again? And for Dubas, it'll be even harder because his job's on the line.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's on the hot seat now, big time.
He might not be around to see Rasmus Sandin ever come to life in Toronto.
That's true. But he also doesn't strike me as like a knee-jerk general manager. I think he's
not at all.
He's going to stick to what he thinks, but I think that there's going to be a lot of meetings between him and Shanny and Dubas and Keefe about like what needs to change here. It's pretty glaring to the fan base and most of the media. I'm sure these fucking guys who seem like three smart guys to me can figure this fucking shit out. There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. But it's hard. It's hard to pull off trades. Like,
well, it's Shanahan and Dubas. Like Lamoriello was here too, but Dubas, Hunter, Lamoriello, and Shanahan orchestrated one of the best teardowns and rebuilds in league history. They did that super fast. Now they won the draft lottery, which helped. I'm sure they can sit down and be like, they're not idiots. If we're watching the game and we can see that this isn't a winning team, they're not going to come to training camp and be like, this is a winning team. They can't. They've got to look at this team and say, something's got to give, which I don't know if you want to go here right now, but I said in the last podcast, I think Freddie Anderson's played his last game as Toronto Maple Leaf. He's in the last year of his contract, $5 million a year, 31. Goalies usually tend to fall off if you're not Carey Price at 30. He's heading onto the back nine. Has Freddie Anderson proved to you that you can win a cup with this guy?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then I honestly think
I don't know if they can win a cup with any of these guys, to be honest, but Like my feeling has just changed completely over the hey Matthews, Marner, Tavares.
But look
Like
at
it's
look
so
at Columbus. They let Bobrovsky walk, and they took
And
a
he-
chance on these two kids. Now they have two
right.
goalies that
I
would
know.
take.
So who plays net if it's not Anderson then?
I have no idea.
Campbell, or they go like they make a deal.
Are you comfortable in Jack Campbell? Have you seen enough in Jack Campbell? I like him.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. And then you start bringing up the kids and see what they can do. You give Wall some games and you give Ian Scott, because those are the two guys that I think they want in net eventually anyway. Whether or not it pans out or not, I don't know. I'd be fishing to try to get Elvis or Copacello, one of those two fucking kids, because
Jesus, they're good.
But I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do in net. It's a huge question mark. I have a feeling that they give him another shot. What could you get for Freddie Anderson right now? $5 million price tag. He could help a team get to the playoffs.
You might get a defenseman.
You could trade him and miss the playoffs. That could happen.
For sure. He's one of the best regular season goalies. He has faced more shots than anybody in the last 3 years. No goalies face more shots. He also plays a ton of games. Maybe instead of trading Freddie for this year, you do a real tandem of him and Campbell.
Oh, if he's back, he has to play less games, way less. Like Campbell's you got to see if Campbell can maybe start.
Because maybe that's the thing, but I don't know. Maybe Freddie needs a rest. If Campbell plays enough games and shows enough, maybe you're not afraid to go with Campbell in the playoffs, if need be.
Yeah. Yeah,
look at Tortorella. He had no problem just switching goalies. Game 5, we're going to go to the other guy. Game 4, we're going to go to this guy. Like, the Leafs haven't had that in forever. It's Freddie or nothing.
And it seems like it's the teams with tandems now that are getting it done anyway. For the
most
most part,
are fresh. They're rested.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with Freddie. I have a feeling that he will be back, but this will be it. This will be it, which means they're not going to get anything for him. Like, I think he will be back, and they're going to give him another chance to, like, look, Fred, you're a UFA, so write a different narrative for yourself and this team, or write a different narrative for yourself and this team this season, next season.
Get a contract,
or you're like, this is your last season as a Leaf, which is unfortunate, but you can't keep going with a guy like 0-8 in clinching games in his last 8 times to try to do it, going back to when he was with the Ducks. That's fucking insane. You're telling me that's not affecting his fucking psyche?
Oh, he was thinking about it going into last night's game.
Dude.
Totally crossing his mind.
There's no way as a goal. I played fucking goalie. Like, it was like any little thing. Like, if you go into, like, if it just keeps happening and keeps happening, there's no way you're going into that game thinking, I got this. No problem. I got this. There's just, even if he's thinking that, in the back of his head, he's still thinking, I know what previously has happened here. It's just be impossible not to.
Yeah. Any position in any sport, or any sport that isn't, you're very isolated. It's very individual. It's a total mind game. Golf is the best example of that. Like, it's such a mind game. If you start to shank it, or if you start to lose your putts, it just totally eats you up.
Over.
It's like pitchers in baseball. If they start to lose it, it's in their head. Goalies are the exact same. You're right. A forward can go out and just start banging people and kind of, put some aggression out, but it's all in your head in goaltending. And I think he goes into those elimination games, and in the back of his head, there's a little voice saying, you're going to lose. And he fucking does every time.
No, you're right. So I don't know. I don't think we've seen the end of Freddie Anderson. I think they'd go back to him, and I give him, and depending on what happens next, maybe you're right.
I wouldn't on this.
No,
I think they're going to burn. I think they are going to burn a lot of things to
I'm not look, if they make a deal and someone else is the starting goalie for the Leafs next year, I'm not opposed to it. And I'm a big Anderson fan. But I do not
opposed to.
No, there's not. But I'm a big Anderson fan. I like the way he plays most of the time. I think he helps the team win a lot. He saves their asses a lot. But this shit is getting like ridiculous. And I'm not even pinning that loss on him, but it was another bad goal in an elimination game. I don't know. I think you might be right, and I'm not opposed to it if that's the case. If they come back with him and give it another shot, I'm not against that either. But it's got to happen next year, or that is it.
If you bolster the defense, that might help him. That might push him over the edge. Like you said, if he had Columbus's defense in front of him,
there you go.
He may have won that series 3 straight.
There you go. There you go.
We don't know. So maybe
it's not really fair to pin it on him. I don't think it's fair to pin it on him.
If you're going to fix the defense, maybe
try to help him for next season and then fucking see what's up.
Let Campbell play 35 games.
No reason why.
Minimum 35 games.
Agree.
I have no problem with Campbell playing 35 games.
So so have we seen the end of Freddie Anderson? I don't think so. You think maybe. We'll see what happens. Here's a fucking more serious question. Have we seen the end of the mustache? I don't mean Austin Matthews. I mean, have we seen the end of the mustache?
Like he's going to shave it?
Mm-hmm. Is that thing here to stay? Or is he like, when we see him again in December or January or whatever the fuck is this shit gets going again, is that mustache still there? Is it even greasier or is it just gone completely?
I think it depends on how Austin views it. If he views the mustache as bad luck for the team, maybe. But if he looks at his individual stats and says, since I've grown this mustache, he would have scored 50 this year.
100%. He probably would have set the all-time record for the club.
Yeah, no, if I'm Austin Matthews, I'm like, fuck that.
Keep it.
Yeah.
I think it stays. I hope it stays.
Picture this. You have that mustache. And once you break all the records, they're going to put a picture of you scoring these goals and these assists in the arena. Maybe paint a mural of you on a wall.
Yes.
And don't you want that mustache in those pictures?
Of course. Yeah.
So fuck no, he ain't going to shave it.
I hope you're right.
Okay, there may be an entire wall at Scotiabank Arena, just his mustache.
Okay. I hope you're right. I want the if they ever do win the cup, I want the statue to be outside where you clearly see the mustache.
They'll have a ladies only section of seats, and the seats will just be painted like one big mustache, and it'll be that. Ladies only
mustache rides at the Scotiabank,
and that's it.
Love it. You
get a little comb when you get in.
Oh, I love that. Okay, do you want to go quickly on? Like we kind of talked about the trade situation. Like we didn't really get super into like anybody specifically other than Nylander, but like I don't know. Do you want to where do you want to go? Do you want to go back to Keith, Dubas, and Shanny? Do you want to go to the core guys, the non-core guys? Who do you think will be here next year? Who do you think won't? Or like where do you want to go here?
Let's go to the non-core, and then the core, and then we'll talk about management.
Okay. So
we'll build up to the big boys.
Okay, here's what Game 5's lineup looked like for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Hyman, the lines. I'm reading the lines here. Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Nylander, Hyman, Cappy, Kerfoot, Mikheyev, Johnson, Engvall, Clifford, Spezza. And then the D pairs, Riley, Ceci, Hall, Marincin.
Yeah, we went over the
Dermott.
We went over the D.
Okay, so up front, Tavares, 11 million, Matthews, 11, Marner, 10. I'm rounding up or down here. I'm not giving the exact amount. Hyman, 2, Nylander, 7, Cappy, 3, Mikheyev, like entry level, I think. Kerfoot, 3.5, Johnson, 3.5, Clifford, 1, Engvall, 1.5, Spezza, league minimum. UFAs on this team, forward-wise, Clifford, Spezza. They're the only 2 UFAs. And RFAs, forward-wise, didn't get into these guys. Gauthier, Malgin didn't play. And Mikheyev, RFAs, among the forwards. And then you got Robertson coming. Korshkov, I believe, will be back in the fold. But other than that, there's not a lot coming down the pipeline. Like, I think the Jeremy Brackle thing is over. I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Like, that's just not going to happen. So there's not a lot of what do you do? What do you do up front?
In the bottom 6, I'm not too worried about it.
I am.
because I think it's a
Invisible, dude. How can you not even be worried about that? Now I'm worried about I'm worried about everything.
I'm not too worried about fixing it. It needs to be fixed, but I'm not too worried about fixing it because I think you can get creative, and I think you can. It's really easy to find cheap guys who will work hard and maybe change the identity of your team to plug into the bottom six. Where it gets tricky is you're probably going to have to part with them, and you're going to have to pick which ones you part with.
Okay,
the biggest one is going to be Janssen and Kapanen.
Yeah, okay, without a doubt. Do you bring Spezza back if he wants to? I think Spezza's got game left. League minimum, fourth line. I bring him back 100%. Do you not?
Yeah.
He's got another year left in the tank, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think you need guys like that.
I think I bring Spezza back.
I don't think they win game 4. They don't do that comeback in game 4 if Spezza's not on the team.
Maybe.
I think Spezza showed a little life.
He did, for sure.
That game.
I would bring Spezza back. Clifford, I would bring him back too.
I bring Clifford back for sure.
He's a UFA though. Well, they both are. So you try to just keep the money down and like you play it a limited role, and then Engvall's already signed. So there's probably your fourth line. Maybe Engvall moves up depending on what happens. RFAs, Gauthier, Malgin. I'd fucking like.
Who cares?
I don't know. Do you sign those guys? They're RFAs. If you, I wouldn't. Malgin, I wouldn't sign. Gauthier, I'm kind of done with.
Will they sign 2-way contracts? Will they go play with the Marlies?
Malgin might. I don't know if Gauthier.
I have no problem doing that.
You could probably trade Gauthier. I think you could trade Gauthier.
I think if you could
not going to get. You could just trade him for a pick or something.
If you could keep them on the Marlies and just have them there as spares to bring up every now and then. But on one-way contracts that go against your cap and take up a roster spot, no, I don't want to keep them.
I agree. So Gauthier, Malgin, I'm saying. Oh, I forgot Patan too. Patan.
No.
And all three of those guys, Gauthier, Malgin, Patan.
It's all this. Like Gautier's big, but like I said
he might as well be the same size as Patan or Malgin because
it's all the same type of player.
Exactly.
So
exactly. That's the thing with Spezza and Clifford. They're not those types of players.
Yeah.
They're not those types of players. So I'm bringing Spezza and Clifford back.
Yeah, they're character guys. They bring something to the table other than just skill and how they play hockey.
Right.
That's what they need.
So Kerfoot, Mikheyev, Janssen. Who know? Okay, I think Mikheyev was a big disappointment in this series for me, but
give him a full training camp.
I would still give him a contract,
yeah.
And you can probably get him at a good price. Kerfoot's already signed. Is he your third line center next year?
He has to be.
Like for sure he comes back. $3.5 million. I don't know. Cheaper than Kadri, but his play's cheaper than Kadri too. So
yeah.
I don't know. Kerfoot. I'd get rid of him if I could, but like I said, you got to keep some people in the mix because next summer there's an expansion draft, and Kerfoot might be the guy that see ya. Like I don't know. They've got. I forgot about this other kid that plays for the Petes, Dargachintsev. He plays center. Give him a year with the Marlies.
SDA.
Yeah, I can pronounce his last name.
I know. You're usually not very good at that.
I know. Dargachintsev. I just did it twice in a row.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm on it, man.
What is it?
Dargachintsev.
Dargachintsev.
Yeah.
Not
quite as good, but you're not bad. You're in the ballpark. Anyway, this kid plays center.
Dargachintsev.
He plays center. Kerfoot goes to Seattle. Is there a chance that this kid can step in and play?
Maybe.
They don't have a lot of center depth.
If you're trying to win a cup, you're not gambling on Peterborough Pete second line centers to come in and fill roles.
Okay, fair.
You're trying to build a winning team to win the cup next year.
Yeah. I'm not talking about next year.
You're talking about Matthews has.
I'm saying, can he replace? You give Kerfoot one more year, and then all of a sudden you have someone cheaper replace him 2 years.
Yeah.
From now.
Okay. Yeah. But what I'm saying is Matthews has 4 years left on his contract. That's your window to win a cup.
Yeah. 100%.
You don't win a cup without mustache.
No.
So you got 4 years to do it. If Dargachintsev, did I say it right?
Kind of.
Okay. If SDA is ready to go within those 4 years, then yeah.
Okay.
But you have a 4-year window. If anything outside that 4-year window, I don't give a shit about. Because if Mustache bails on us,
Yeah.
and heads home or something after 5 years.
Yeah. Which is
It's a possibility.
He's best friends with Freddie Anderson, so if they fucking treat Fred like shit on the way out, that could rub him the wrong way. Although, like, put on your big boy pants, it's a fucking business. And more importantly than that, if they don't win if this continues, he's probably going to be like, what am I doing? Like,
hey,
like
Arizona's
McDavid.
on to round one.
There you go. There you go. Just like McDavid. Like, McDavid's probably thinking, why did I sign for fucking so long? He's tied in longer than fucking Matthews. If this shit continues for another 4 years, Matthews can be like, why the fuck do I want to stay here?
He's still in his prime.
Like, we can't get out of the first fucking round. I'm fucking see you later. Like, sorry guys, I want to fucking win.
Yeah.
So they're treading on fucking thin ice here. Like, 4 years is a long time, but
you could also make the argument that, like, if he's here 4 years and they don't win, the Leafs could say the same thing right back to him. Like, hey, you didn't win.
Right. I don't think the reason they're not winning is him, though.
No, like I said, they don't win a cup without Mustache. I think they could win a cup making trades around Mustache. Like, you could trade Marner, get a big package back, and win a cup. But you're not winning a cup without – look at what Austin Matthews did in this series.
I know.
They don't win a game without him.
If they trade Mitch Marner over William Nylander, I personally think they're fucking insane, personally.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I can't see it. No. I think Marner, Matthews, Tavares stays. Anyway, what? Who's not staying? JT's got a no trade. Mustache isn't getting traded. Marner, like,
I'm just saying, don't say. I would love to see Marner, Matthews, and Tavares stay. I really don't care if they trade Nylander, but never say never.
Never say never.
One of those three guys could get traded.
Nylander,
Marner be the guy, but he makes.
But if you're looking for
money,
if you're looking for goal scoring, like Nylander, $7 million, he just scored 31 goals in a short, and he could have scored. He might have got to 35, like, or more. So his value is probably pretty high at this time. Might be the time to fucking flip this guy for something good. And like, does he score? Is he a perennial 30-goal scorer?
You know who else scored 30 goals and made less than that? Kadri.
This year, did he? Or just when he was in the
he scored 30 goals with the Leafs.
Oh, for the Leafs, yeah.
When he had Marner on his wing.
There you go. Anyway, so I don't know. Mikheyev, I think they re-sign. Clifford, I think they re-sign. Engvall's already signed. Spezza, I think they re-sign if he wants to play again.
He will.
Kerfoot probably is back and plays third-line center. Hopefully he has a better year. Janssen, Cappy. I don't know. Those guys didn't show up. Well, Janssen played the one game. Cappy wasn't great. He had like the one breakaway in maybe game one. I don't even know what game it was.
He looked so good in training camp. Yeah. And so good in the Montreal game. But
fuck, man.
We've seen this before from both Kapanen and Nylander. When they play defensively tight teams, they kind of disappear.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like Cappy's got a record of being better in bigger games than Nylander.
In big games, for sure. But when you play teams of that style, it's like they don't like it. The funny thing is that it doesn't matter who you play, defensive team, wide open team, big team, small team. I notice Matthews every game.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's why I say you're not winning a cup without the stash. But anyway, if I had to trade, are you asking if I had to trade one of Kapanen or Janssen?
Well, I mean, they're both on the table at this point, is it not? Like,
yeah. I think all year it was Janssen and keep Kapanen.
I still feel that way.
But it could go either way.
Could go either way, but I still feel that way. If I had to keep one of them kills penalties. One of them will never kill penalties.
But if you could get the right-handed D you've been looking for, but they want Kapanen?
That just doesn't – I don't know. I don't think that's going to be the guy that gets it done personally.
No, but if it did, if it fell on your lap, you'd make that trade.
Probably, yes. Probably I would.
Yeah.
You got to do something. But
yeah. It's funny we get so mad at the team after they lose, but then when we break it down, we have such a hard time parting with the players.
No, but I mean, their secondary was shit, but I just think something bigger than that needs to happen.
Yeah.
To not only to like be like a little bit of a shakeup, but also kind of to send a message to like, guys, this ain't fucking like, you know, I hate to go back to like the country club fucking Muskoka 5 bullshit, but like a message needs to be sent to be like, this is not acceptable. Like, this isn't like, this can't continue. This can't continue.
You don't just get to come in every year, do this shit, get a big payday on July 1st, go play all summer, and then do it again the next year.
No, fuck.
Like if you don't win, you know,
consequences.
There's consequences. You can go.
That hasn't happened. That hasn't happened yet. But
you like it here. We gave you your coach. We gave you Sheldon Keefe.
Yeah.
They get, honestly, the Toronto Maple Leafs get treated better than any other team. Like the facilities and stuff. They have everything you ever wanted. You walk around the city, they probably don't pay for a meal when they walk into a restaurant. They're like celebrities. Everything's taken care of for them. Here you go. Get on a train. You're going to Minnesota. Have fun.
No,
you're going
without a doubt.
Hey, Willie, you're going to Buffalo.
Yeah, well, hey. Go Ristolainen or whatever his name is.
With his brother. Down there. Isn't his brother in Buffalo? No, his brother's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. He never panned out. Anyway.
Well, they won a playoff series, so.
They did.
Kind of, technically, I guess.
So let's get into the big boys.
Well, dude, what are you going to do? Like we just said, Tavares Matthews not going anywhere 100%. I don't think Marner – it would be honestly pretty fucking stupid to trade Mitch Marner when he's like 22 or 23 years old. I just think that's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
He's nowhere near his fucking ceiling. And Nylander might not be near his ceiling either, but it's a no-brainer for me. If you are making a decision to trade somebody out of those four people, it's William Nylander first.
And I think, like we were talking, it's not even about how good you are at playing hockey, but sort of the character that you are, because you're trying to build a winning team. Marner cares. You can see it in his face during the game, man. He wants to win.
Yeah.
And he loves being in Toronto. Willie, sometimes I think Willie's thinking about chicks on a beach or something like that. Like he is just out to lunch a lot of the time.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I think he's more worried about, you know, his hair. Remember in Slapshot, the guy who was always looking at himself in the mirror?
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's Nylander, man.
Oh, 100%. 100%, man.
So, yeah, I think Marner's character actually builds to a winning team. He was one guy in the press conference after last night that actually looked like
pissed off. He didn't want to be out there answering the same questions.
And he looked like he could cry. Like he looked like it was really eating him up inside.
He didn't score. I mean, he was all over it. He had like he was setting up. I don't think Marner played terrible, but
he is at times I think he's too fancy.
Too pretty. Yeah.
Tone it down a little bit, but
yeah.
I think he wants to win and he loves being in Toronto.
Look, the Game 4 comeback, were they looking for the fancy pass? It was like one pass, shoot.
The thing that got it going was a greasy goal. Shove it in.
I know. But even the pass to Tavares for the second goal, one pass, shoot. Marner to Hyman, one pass, shoot. Even the winning goal, one pass, shoot. Like, none of this fucking fancy bullshit.
None of these wait.
No, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to show you're fucking elite all the time because guess what? Now people are doubting you're elite even in the fucking first place.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying Austin Matthews isn't fucking an elite player or Mitch or JT. Like, they are. We get it.
But you know what, Mitch? Boone Jenner had more goals than you in this series. Do you know what Boone Jenner does? He just drives the net and shoots.
That's right.
So,
but again, like, you know, can they learn from this? They haven't been able to yet.
That's the problem. That is the problem. That's the biggest problem. We're not pissed because they lost to Columbus. We're pissed because they lost to Columbus. They blew 2 elimination games against Boston, and they shit the bed in Game 7 3 years ago. Whatever it was, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, the fan base isn't pissed because they lost to fucking Columbus. It's been building. Yeah. They can't win games that everyone is expecting them to fucking win, and they should be winning. They should have beat Boston at least one of those 2 series.
Yeah, they should have beat them in Game 6 last year.
For sure, they should have. They should have beat Columbus. Like, hot goalie bounce here, excuse, whatever. Muzzin goes out.
It was a close series.
Sure, it was.
They definitely could have won it. They could have won it in 3
But they
games.
Fucking didn't. They didn't. And that's the fucking problem. They didn't.
They didn't do it.
So that's bottom line. They didn't.
Yeah. And Columbus did. And Columbus did it last year. They beat Tampa. They swept them.
They might do it again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't shock me.
But here's the difference between the Leafs and, like, I hate to use the Bruins as an example, but when the Bruins faced Columbus last year, they just forced Columbus to play Boston's game and then just fucking took care of them. That was it. Move on to the next one. Why can't the Leafs do that?
Yeah.
Why can't they roll in and be like, we're going to play Toronto Maple Leaf hockey and you're going to play with us? But instead, 3 out of those 5 games, maybe 3.5, I had to watch boring fucking defensive Columbus Blue Jacket hockey. 2 shutouts. Driving me nuts.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know what else you got, man. Like, I mean, we'll see what happens, but...
Well, do you want to talk about Shanny and...
Well, Shanny, Dubas, and Keefe. I mean, like, Keefe made the comments earlier in the series about they didn't play. They're not playing with, like, purpose or a plan. Like, remember those comments? He didn't say them after Game 5, but...
Said them after Game 1.
I thought it was after Game 3. No, they played great. Game 2 was their best game in the series. Game 3, when they fucking let the 3-0 lead slip, and then
he said
he
said even when they were up 3-0, he didn't feel good.
No, he thought they were playing without a purpose and a plan and all that. So,
yeah. And he also made the comment that Columbus knows what they are, and they do it. They all buy into it.
Right,
they do it really well. And so I think it was a shot at his own team.
Yeah, it was. And they didn't exactly respond in the next game either, because they were down fucking 3-0 again. They never respond. And then they ended up tying it, but still. Anyway, whatever. Shanny took. There's exit meetings tomorrow. Shanny's going to speak. Dubas is going to speak. Keefe is going to speak, and there's going to be selected players that will speak as well. I imagine probably Riley, JT, maybe Matthews, maybe Marner. I don't know if anybody else is going to speak. That might be it.
Riley and JT for sure.
Maybe Freddie, or maybe they just say Freddie, just fucking whatever. We'll see it. We'll call you later. But
have a good one.
Yeah, go get your fucking head straight, and we'll call you. We'll call you in the fall.
Yeah, one last point before we go.
But the exit meetings tomorrow should be interesting. I'm very interested to see what they're going to say. Are you going to be cut and dry about it? Are you going to tell the fucking truth? Or are you going to fucking put sugar coat on it and just try to fucking pretend like it's all fucking good and we'll get them next year? Well, fuck that fucking shit. Like, tell the fucking truth.
This is the point I was trying to make. And it has to do with the exit interviews, because all they kept saying all playoffs, when they blew the 3-goal lead, when they lost Game 1 and they got shut out, they always talk about the resiliency. It's like, we've shown all season that we're resilient. And my beef with that is that the reason you had to show you were resilient so many times this season is because so many times you don't fucking show up and you put yourself in that position. So if they come out tomorrow and they talk about, well, a lot of times this year we had our back against the wall and we pulled through. We just couldn't do it this time. It's like, why are you always putting your back against the wall? You shouldn't have even been in the play-in series. You should have been playing in the round robin for a top seed.
Yeah.
But instead you're playing Columbus. Like, this team should be with the Bostons and the Phillies and the Washingtons. It shouldn't be with the Floridas and the Columbuses.
They should be, but they're really not. They're not. They're more middle of the pack. They're not that upper echelon.
They are.
They're showing they're not. Clearly.
Yeah. So when they talk about that, all the resilience and stuff, you have to look at, why are you resilient? Like, you had that great game against Tampa, and they're like, oh, we always bounce back. It's like, yeah, but you went to California, played the 3 worst teams in the league, and lost.
I know.
That's not resilient.
No, I mean, changes need to be made. Obviously, we'll see what happens. I expect that there will be – this is a crucial offseason for Kyle Dubas, but ultimately – most of the core, I believe, will stay intact. These guys need to figure it out. Like, it's a broken fucking record here. These guys need to figure it out.
But the defense cannot stay together.
No. I think there will be massive changes that are coming. I believe that. It has to. Absolutely has to. But Like, I just think, like, eventually some of these core guys that will still remain, and there'll be non-core guys that will still remain too, have to be like, I know you're cashing your fat paychecks and it's whatever, like, but how can they not be just as sick of it as, like, they have to be getting sick of it too. Like, they have to be thinking at this point, like, this is fucking crazy. Like, we can't even win a fucking series.
That's what you got to do. You got to find the guys.
The Stanley Cup. We're talking about the Leafs winning a cup. They can't win a fucking series. They can't win a series.
You got to find the guys.
That's a joke. You got
to find the guys who care about that. You got to find the guys on your team that actually give a shit about winning that series, that actually take this to heart. Keep those guys, and the ones who are like, we'll get them next year. See you later. See you later. I don't want you to think we'll get them next year. I want this to be eating you alive all fucking off season.
Yeah. Like someone like, I don't know, Sid, Taves, these kind of guys that have the makeup of, like,
they don't like to lose.
No, they don't like to fucking lose.
They like to win. That's winners win. That's just the way it is. So if you find guys on the team, if you're doing your exit interviews and they're nonchalant about everything, I'm putting their name down as get rid of this fucking guy.
Well,
you want to build a winning team, you need winning culture. You need characters that win. So that's not my job. That's Dubas's job.
No, for sure. Well, I don't know. They got a lot of work to do. What's going to happen in net? What's going to happen on the blue line? What's going to happen with the core guys, the non-core guys in the front office? So many question marks going into the offseason. When will we be back? I don't know.
We might do one just for fun.
Maybe. I'm not going to watch the playoffs anymore. I don't give a fucking shit about any of the teams remaining.
No,
I
it's
could literally care less about hockey at this point. Got 5 Leafs games, or 6, and then it's back to fucking another, we'll see you in 4 fucking months. So, but there will be things happen.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we'll do one we'll see what happens with the Raps. If the Raps win again, we'll probably do one then. If depending on what happens at the draft, even though the Leafs don't have their first round pick, a trade goes down. If there's news that needs to be talked about, we'll be back. But until then, like free agency time, all that shit, we'll be back. But that's not till fucking like November.
No.
The draft isn't until like October. So we're not going to be here. We're not going to be here for probably at least a month. He won't see us at least for a month, maybe longer.
Yeah, we need some time to digest this.
Oh, fuck.
But you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Tippin' Maple Leafs Podcast, on Twitter at the Tippin' Podcast, and at YouTube at the Tippin' Maple Leafs Podcast. Hit like and subscribe. You can email us at the tippinpodcast@gmail.com. So we may not be doing podcasts, but if you want one, if you have an idea for one, send us a message. Send us an email.
When there's Leafs news that needs to be talked about, we'll come back on it and do podcasts. But for the remainder of these playoffs, we're probably cashing out.
Go hit the golf course. Go hit your swimming pool. It's still August.
Another unfortunate early upset. My goodness. Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you want to go out on Phil Mickelson? Did you see him in the commentary booth on the weekend?
Oh, doesn't he look good?
Well, he was asked, like, did you not see it? Like,
no, I didn't see it, but he was asked. He's wearing like women's sunglasses now.
No, I should have had a cute. He was in the booth with Nick Faldo and what's the other guy's name? Lance, whatever. Jay, or what's the guy's name? Fuck, I can't remember the other guy's name.
What did he say?
NBC. Well, he was at. They're like, glad to have you here, Phil, and like, all this, and Phil's like, really great to be here. Right away, Phil goes, I just like usually tell people, he's like, I'm really good at 3 things. Playing golf, talking golf.
And that's it?
That's all he said. And then Nick Faldo's like, didn't you say 3 things? And Phil was just like,
there's 3 things I do well.
Oh wait, that's not loud enough.
That is it though.
Hang on.
Great to have it. Thank you. It's nice to be here. There's 3 things I do well. Play golf and talk golf. What's the third thing? You said 3 things.
I get it.
Phil.
Phil's
shoot him.
He's 50 now. Yeah, he's
Shooter McGavin went on Twitter or whatever, and he was like, my new favorite commentator, Phil Mickelson.
I love Phil. I'm a lefty, so I love Phil.
I love Phil too.
But he is. He's like lost weight. He looks younger. He's 50. He wears giant fucking aviators now on the course.
Oh yeah, instant legend in the booth. Like to come out of the gates with that. That's what he came out of the gates with. All they said was, "Glad to have you, Phil." Like, really glad you're here, Phil.
Well, there's three things in life: playing golf, talking golf.
That was his opener. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
You're a legend if you can pull shit like that.
Absolute legend, Philly lefty.
Yeah. He may have shit all over the course on the weekend, but
that's why he's starting to get into the booth. He knows it's like, time doesn't
get this guy. Get Phil Mickelson. He needs a podcast, or he needs to come on the tip in because he's tipped a lot in.
Oh, fuck, man. I'd love to get some of his gambling stories. I don't think the guy's ever played a round of golf without there being money on the line. Even when he's just playing like with his buddies, they're like,
no,
like nonstop gambler, right? Like he's all about it.
Yeah, there is a story where he I don't know, he went on the course with someone. I heard this story, and it was just like a media guy, and he gambled him for like $100 on one hole, and he lost. Right?
Yeah.
And the guy made a comment to Phil, and Phil kind of got a little pissed. And then later the guy came up and apologized and said, Phil, that was a stupid comment and sorry. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, here, take your $100 back. Like it was a stupid bet. And Phil's like, dude, I won 9,000 of these today.
That's awesome.
Or something like that. And then just like walked away. And you're like, he's the best.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe 900. I don't know. Whatever 900,000 works out to, or 9 million.
The chapter is closed on the Toronto Maple Leafs season. The jerseys will be all put away until this starts again next fall or next winter or whatever, or this fall or next winter. I don't know. When is it going to be? January? Who knows? But during the time off, we will more than likely come back with a new format, new logo, bunch of new stuff up online, new colors, possibly be switching from black and white to blue and white. And so stay tuned for that. Those things will be in the works for the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast during the off season.
It's the same old story, the same old song and dance.
That's right.
But we will be back when we're back.
Come on, Leafs. Like, come on, Dubas and Shanny. Figure this shit out, please. Like, cannot take much more of this. Like, please.
For everyone that did download and listen to our podcast all year, we want to say thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't do this if we didn't get the downloads and we didn't get the listens. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Keep it coming, and we will keep doing them whenever the Leafs hit the ice again.
Come back next year for many more juicy, greasy tips because hopefully they're going to be popping in left and right.
Yeah, we're not always this angry.
No, we were pretty calm actually for the most part.
Yeah, well,
I don't know, a little riled up here and there, but like whatever. We're kind of used to it by now, so we hope that they can get this fucking thing changed around. Like, come on, please have an off season. Come back with a different look and a different mindset. Enough of this bullshit.
Win a playoff round for
the Enough of this shit.
The Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
We will
catch you whenever we catch you. Catch you later.